Hey, Coach, all three of the previous coaches have mentioned the effort that you guys played with on Saturday night. Can you talk about the effort, the improved effort the defense played with, and how you build off and sustain that moving forward?
Well, the effort in the game was a direct correlation to the constant push of the effort during the week of preparation. And we're not there yet, but it's constant. And the one thing you got to be able to rely on is your energy level, your effort. That's something it's never based on the opponent. It's always based on self-evaluation and what you're willing to give in the course of practice, in the course of the game, to be able to achieve what you're trying to achieve. So it was better. It's still not there yet, but it was better throughout the course of the 4 quarters.
The Irish FL from Warchant.
Hey, Coach, you guys played situationally well, I thought, in that game, even though they got some yards and some points. What's the key to that, especially, the 3rd and 4th down stops, and then also the way you guys played in the red zone?
Ira, if I knew exactly, we'd do it all the time. It's the emphasis. Listen, start with week 1, we were not good enough on 3rd down. So, there's a certain way when we got here, okay, this is how we identify situational football. This is how we communicate it to you. These are the expectations. These are the calls. This is how we're going to play. During the course of the season, whether it's players playing better than expected, players not what we expected, we're constantly moving the parts around. And now it's, you're starting to try to get in a rhythm of, okay, this is who we are going to be. And this is how it's going to play. Now, situationally, these are the things that are going to come up. And, like Asante Samuel, at the beginning of the year, I know we gave up an easy throw on a 3rd medium. I think it was the 1st or 2nd 3rd down. They went at him, on a quick hitch on a 3rd medium, and he breaks it up, sits on the route. Good football. Just even the pass rushers, there's certain times on these mediums we were just getting up the football field and creating these lanes, and that's not what we want to do. So it's all of it. And it's just, we're not there yet. It's the coaching of it. It's their understanding of it. We got to be good teachers. They've got to be good learners. We've got to be able to meet somewhere there, and we got to keep at it. But, obviously the 3rd down and 4th down conversion downs were definitely in our favor Saturday night.
Coach, Notre Dame had a lot of success on that counter play, and so you had your defenders, spilling, trying to keep that contained, but then leaving the corner out on the island a little bit. How do you use those in synchronization to kind of emphasize the success that you're looking for?
Perry, your run fits and your pass fits should fit together. You never want to have that conflicting. So it's just by call, you're trying to make sure the force is coordinated with the run fit, the pass fit, and just repetitions of it. And then the execution of it is obviously the real important factor. So, there are some times we put the ball out and we get it out to outside defenders. Sometimes that we leverage the ball and get it back to inside defenders. There's sometimes that we blitz a corner and then switch the responsibility. So, it's all got to be coordinated in the right way. And, the players, there were some times that it wasn't as tight of a fit as we wanted. But overall, they went out there and tried to execute it. And, it was what we thought we had to do to beat North Carolina and execute. So try to do it the best we could.
Next will be Antoine Staley from Tallahassee Democrat.
Hey, Coach, to go back on the 3rd and 4th down conversions, what were you able to do to be able to slow down and get North Carolina off the field on those downs? And also, do you think it's something you can carry forward as you head into the Louisville game?
Well, good questions. I think there's always a balance of bringing pressure and not bringing pressure. Now, when I say that, it's bringing people from off the line of scrimmage. I think it all starts with, if you can generate a rush with your line of scrimmage players, that's where it should always start. Because now from a quarterback, he doesn't see vacant holes. He doesn't see replacement coverage. And now the clock of the timer is faster for the quarterback on the 3 or 4 man rush. We did a better job of that Saturday night, of rushing with 4. It's where we want to start. And then if that works, now you have the ability to add rushers, switch rushers, bring more than they have, which we try to do a couple times as well. And, you know, we're not trying to reinvent things every week. You know, you want to build a foundation of pressure and then be able to build off of it. And, you know, we're starting to gain some traction. We are not even close to being there yet. But, you know, from the technique up front to just conceptually and schematically being able to add guys into the rush and then make it look like they're adding the rush and then not rush them. You know, that's all part of what you're trying to give an offense the picture of on third down. So, you know, I think anytime you can have some success on third down, it gives the opponent the picture, okay, this is what they do. Now you want to give them that picture and not do it, right? Or you want to give them the same picture and offer a different variance of how you're going to bring it. So we're trying to write the book on how you do it for our defense in 2020. And, you know, once you get a chapter done, now you can kind of turn the page and say, build off of that perception of pressure or actual pressure, and then either keep it the same or change up the trigger factors on either end. So, you know, we're definitely – the success on third down on Saturday night will help that. But, you know, Louisville will be a brand new book. You know, we're going to have to make sure that we build off what we did to allow our guys to play fast. But also, you can't just keep doing the same stuff, right? You got to be able to be varied enough. But I was happy with our execution on third down and on fourth down.
Next will be Brennan Seminoles from Noles 245.
Hey, Adam, it seemed like you guys were in the nickel package personnel a lot of the game. Was that a matter of maximizing your personnel to fit and get your best 11 on there, or more responding to, I guess, what UNC would normally do and how they attack defenses?
Yeah, Brendan, you know, when we sit in that room on Sunday and Monday and put our plan together, it starts with our players, you know, and, you know, there's a fine balance of how you're going to stop somebody. Do what we do well or try to do well with our players, and then what do we have to stop? And as a coach, that's always the balance. You're trying to put your best players in the best positions to stop the opponent. And, you know, we're always looking at our depth, moving pieces around, trying to get the right guys on the field. But then there's got to be a part, okay, this is what they're going to do, and this is what gives us the best chance to stop them. And the tough decisions are when maybe you got guys that are playing good and they're not involved in that, or they are involved in that. And so those are the tough decisions that you try to make. You try and create roles for all your players that you think can help you win the game. And, you know, that's what we did Saturday night. But you were right. We played with more 5 DBs on the field for sure against Carolina. They were a 3-wide team, an 11 personnel team. And, you know, that's what we thought gave us the best chance to play our best Saturday night.
Next will be Jerry Cook from the Osceola.
Coach Jerry Cutts, you guys got after him really good, I thought, defensively, and you were shorthanded a little bit at tackle. Can you talk about the effort of your defensive front, especially that front four?
Yeah, Jerry, I was proud of the front. We've been on them just from an execution standpoint. It hasn't always been the effort we want, but just the execution overall, and not just with the front, but the entire team. We play with better fundamental technique, but we definitely, the effort showed. You know, we had some real good effort plays from a number of guys in the front. And, you know, it starts there. You need to win the line of scrimmage. You know, I don't care what level of football you have. And that comes with being in a good stance. It comes with getting off the football, playing with the right technique, and then building the wall in the run game, and then being able to transition from run to pass, you know. And I thought our guys did a good job of that. You know, we had some really good performances up front, and that needs to continue. It needs to build from there.
Hey, I was just curious, when Dennis Briggs came out to practice again after being gone for a while, did you have any expectation that he might be able to play 30-something snaps in that game? And when did you realize he could be a factor?
Well, we didn't have a lot of time with Dennis as a player, but, you know, over this COVID, you had a lot of time with him as a young man. So, you know, the feel for who he was and the decisions he was making, we understood. We were in sync with him, and, you know, we knew Dennis was going to come back at one point. He decided to. You know, we had some depth concerns going into that week, and it kind of, you know, it worked out that way. We always have a plan, Ira, especially in the first quarter of this is going to be rotations. But with Corey going down, and then just the way things were playing, and with us being 4 down in that game, it made it where there was an opportunity for him. And, he didn't hurt us. He earned those reps throughout his short week of prep, but then during the course of the game too. So, it was definitely, it's the first time in my career I've ever had that happen. But he got in there, he gave us some good snaps, and excited to see his development here this week.
Next will be Phil Weiler from Tallahassee Democrat.
Steven Dix is someone, I think he was on the field for the majority of the game Saturday. Obviously, you've seen his role kind of grow gradually from week 1 to now. How much does that just speak to his growth and comfort? And I guess, how did you evaluate his performance over he played probably the most he's played this season Saturday?
Yeah, Kurt, he by far played the most. I mean, he's been playing a good majority of reps since week 1. They've progressively they've increased. And you just want to allow him to play fast. As a true freshman, we're always going to put a little bit more on their plate than they can handle, because you want to have them earn that. And, there was no reason to take him out of the game. I mean, he was playing well. He was playing physical. He was not playing flawlessly. He had his own mistakes. But Steven's earned those reps. And, we've got some young linebackers and we've got some veteran linebackers. We've got some guys that, earn their playing time, and Steven was one of them. Listen, when things go out there, you look at rep counts and this guy, but at the end of the day, we're putting the guys on the field that we think can help us win that series and then win the game. You try and force some early rotations, especially when you start playing more plays. And that rep count starts getting up there in that first half, you're aware of it. And you're trying to force the rotations when you need to. But, Steven did a nice job. He'll be the first one to tell you there's a lot of improvement he can make with some of the fits he's had in the run in the pass game. But we like his progression.
Next will be Aslan Hazanandi from Warchant.
Coach, that defensive line, obviously going into the season, was supposed to be such a strength of the team. The starters, even the backups, those are guys that are preseason All-Americans, draft eligible, have aspirations of making a career out of playing football. When the effort is not there, I mean, is that a difficult conversation to have? I mean, it's easier to probably say you're not, you're taking the wrong first step, your hand placement's off, but to tell these kids, I mean, I guess you're not expecting, you'd hate to think that they're not playing at 100% effort, but after 5 weeks to have a kind of conversation to push that, is that one of the more difficult things to do as a coach?
I think this is how I see the coach-player relationship sometimes. It's like when our expectations are higher than yours, that's when there becomes a conversation. So we're always, when we see it on film, you have a direct conversation, whether it's technique or effort, as you said, Aslan. And I think it helps when you have players play to that standard and you can point that out as well. And this is what it looks like. And then, running the ball and playing hard is a lot of hard work. And it takes, you look at it and, everybody wants an easy way to say, how can I be successful, coach? Like, I know I want to be here. How can I get there? And when you can look a young man in the face and say, work harder, or grit a little bit harder, or, take that next step a little bit faster, and it's effort-based, it's hard to make those decisions as players. You have to really commit to what you're trying to get accomplished, but it's a lot of work. And any of the teams I've ever bet on that has had success, it's because they were your hardest working unit. It was because they were your hardest working, guys on the field. When your best players, your hardest workers, usually you see that team, that position, that side of ball get better. And I think we're starting to see that. But again, that's as good as it was Saturday. Tomorrow's another opportunity, and we definitely are not where we want to be. There's no question about that. I would think if you ask our players, you ask them and where they're at, and as coaches, Tuesday is the most important day in our program right now, and I think it needs to be looked at that by everybody in our program.
We'll go back to Tom from Osceola.
Hey, Coach, I know you're early in your film study on Louisville, but what are your initial impressions of them on offense?
You see their identity show up early. I mean, they want to really trust their ground game. They do a really good job schematically of trying to run the football. They're well coached up front. They've got a good running backs. The quarterback's a veteran. They've got one of the better playmakers on the outside as well in our conference and in the nation. So they offer a challenge. I think just the way they play in unison up front and that back and their commitment to the run game, which creates one-on-one plays in the throw game and down the field plays. So, probably both of us right now are at a point in the season where we both have to make decisions on our identity and, kind of how this thing's going to unfold. So it'll be a battle on Saturday. Got a lot of respect for that coaching staff. I know Coach Satterfield has been successful everywhere he's been. And, I'm sure we'll get their best shot on Saturday. And they definitely offer a challenge.
All right, Coach, we got two more. Chris Nee from Noles 347.
Hey, Coach. Two DBs that seem to get the most playing time they've had this year was Miko Dotson and Jarvis Brownlee, who got the start. How did they perform? How did they handle the ball? And in Dotson's case, is he a guy is he a more nickel type, or is he a guy you guys want to put out there on the outside in the boundary?
Yeah, well, Chris, good questions. We really had four corners going in the game, but we needed to play three on the field in order to play the type of defense we wanted to play. So it was basically, there were some guys that dual role at nickel. There were some guys that played field and boundary. Carolina was on the ball. So at that point, it makes you play left and right corners as well. So, you can't always control the matchup sometimes against these tempo teams. But Jarvis, we knew was going to play more. He's been playing really good in the kicking game. We've been trying to focus on nickel with him. And he wasn't super clean, but you can see he offers a lot of different things. He rushed the passer, played man coverage, has decent zone feel as well. Miko, he offers a toughness, to our secondary that our guys respect. He's not playing as fast as he wants yet. I think that's still being developed with him. But his talent around the ball, his toughness, his grit, his smarts, Miko will help us. And, he did a nice job Saturday night. It was not a total clean game for him either. There were some plays out there that he wants to have back. But they were both critical pieces to how we wanted to play that game. And they definitely, they maxed out as far as their play count on Saturday night between special teams and defense.
All right, last one will be going to Brendan from Noles 247.
I'm going to cheat and ask two questions, if that's okay, Derek. So first, I wanted to ask about Marvin Wilson. Is he saying it's okay? I wanted to ask about Marvin Wilson. Oh, no, I don't know. Marvin Wilson. His effort and his energy throughout the game for Big Marv, especially that last series where he's impacting almost every single of the final few plays. What does that say about where he's at mentally and physically right now? And then second, you guys had a sub package with Amari Gainer and DJ Lundy out there. What did you like about trying to get those two guys on the field, and was that effective enough to where you'd like to experiment with that more moving forward?
Yeah. So Marvin, he had a good game. What I was really impressed with was the way he finished the game. Those last two series, he had his most production. So as you're getting at the end of that game, and that's the competitive excellence. Your best players need to step up in the crucial times. And he had a TFL in the second to last series. Then had two pressures there on the last series that forced some throws. So that was critical to see. We need that more. We need it more consistently, not just from Marv, but our entire front, but definitely impactful. He finished that game the right way, and then he obviously had that block punt early in the game. And then we're trying to get there's all these players that we have and that we try to use. They all have skills, and we're trying to get them in the best spots possible. But every time you move a guy around in different spots, some guys take it very easily and you cross over some duties. Some guys need more reps at doing certain things. And so we're just trying to get guys like Amari, guys like DJ into positions, whether it's third down, whether it's first down. Amari's got a really good skill set, and, he's super valuable to our defense. And we're trying to put him in the right spots to go let him play fast. And then DJ, another young linebacker that, We like what he brings. Now that he's getting healthy, we're trying to create roles for them on first and third downs. And yeah, you were correct in saying that. At the end of the game, it was Amari and DJ on the field as our two linebackers to finish off that series.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.